Hi, my name is Mark O'Sullivan. I am Associate Professor at the Norwegian School of Sports Sciences. I am going to give a brief presentation of a paper published by Christian Bjørndal and I. The paper is called Reconceptualizing Constructive Alignment within the Epistemological Distinction of Ways of Knowing in a Higher Education Coach Development course module. First, I'm going to give some background into why we wrote this paper. Coach education faces the challenge of balancing theory with the practical realities of teaching and learning. As coach education increasingly aligns with top-down policy interventions favouring standardisation and globalism, there is a risk of losing the pedagogical essence of coaching. For example, tendencies to promote the primacy of methodology over pedagogy in coach education has contributed to the rise of standardised training and curricula, copy-paste templates, that may not reflect the local or cultural context. This signals a shift towards administrative practices under the banner of best practice, with its inherent repeatable cause-effect assumptions that may undermine the development of coaches' creative and adaptive skills. The combination of coaching, coach education, and athlete development within bureaucratic accountability presents challenges and may lead to a disconnect between what coaching students learn in educational programs and the realities of their coaching work lives. We explore how the integration of James Gibson's epistemological distinction between different ways of knowing can foster meaningful learning experiences, equip coaches and educators with dynamic tools, and align theory with practice in both academic and professional settings. We support this with some examples from our coach education course at the Norwegian School of Sports Sciences. With new ways of understanding coaching, we need to broaden our ways of educating and developing coaches. Functioning as an educational framework, constructive alignment has been suggested as a way to enhance teaching and learning. Constructive alignment begins with defining clear and specific learning outcomes. The next step is to design teaching and learning activities consistent with the stated learning outcomes. The final component of constructive alignment involves designing assessment tasks that measure students' attainment of the learning outcomes. The assessment tasks should align with the learning activities and outcomes, ensuring that students are assessed on the same knowledge and skills they are supposed to acquire through the learning process. However, as constructive alignment has evolved from a theoretical framework in education to a guiding principle in teaching policy and practice, it has encountered inevitable tensions. For example, its straightforward step-by-step approach can create an administrative facade that fails to fully align with the intricate reality of teaching and student learning. Consequently, this tension can result in a disconnect between educational policy and its practical implementation, leading to the adoption of copy and paste learning outcomes, activities, and assessments that merely serve as a managerial checklist approach. For instance, generic activities or assessments may lead coaches to discard context in favour of universal principles, fulfilling institutional obligations through efficient paperwork, auditing, box ticking, rather than just fostering genuine educational outcomes. These inclinations towards over-constraining the educational process risk reinforcing cultural reproduction and the mentality of doing things the way we have always done them. This can heighten the pressure to perform, conform, and comply. The conventional anchoring of constructive alignment to particular ways of knowing often fails to fully align with the intricate reality and layered complexity of teaching and student learning. Therefore, in this paper, we underscore the significance of an epistemological distinction that guides our ways of knowing, acknowledging the value of both knowledge about coaching and knowledge of coaching in real-world contexts. Knowledge about the environment encompasses external, second-hand information obtained through symbols, pictures, or verbal responses to questions about things. In contrast, Knowledge of the environment is grown through direct perception of affordances or opportunities for action, primarily through active engagement with one's surroundings, and is highly dependent on context and situation. This type of knowledge proves highly practical as it equips individuals with the skills to navigate and adapt to diverse environmental settings. For example, knowing about a place might involve reading a map or a guidebook, while knowing of a place entails experiencing its dynamics firsthand through dwelling and learning to resonate with its various rhythms. Concerns have been raised about excessive reliance on second-hand knowledge about the environment within coaching, coach education, and sports sciences. Here, learning is often defined as the acquisition of knowledge about the environment through information produced and documented by others. This type of knowledge represents an external and somewhat generalized understanding of the environment. An overemphasis on knowledge about coaching may restrict both the coach's and athlete's capacity to respond meaningfully in real-world coaching and performance settings. While we acknowledge the relevance of knowledge about coaching, we firmly believe in striking a balance by emphasizing more open-ended learning outcomes, in situ experimentation, and contextually sensitive assessments. This table provides some examples of different learning outcomes, teaching and learning activities and assessment tasks focused on knowledge about and knowledge of coaching. As an example, the final on-field assessment will occur at the coach's club within their sociocultural context. In line with our ecological theorizing and sociocultural approaches, we recognize the significance of ambiguity in the coaching context. Therefore, the coach will have the autonomy to choose the task design, and after the session there will be a reflective discussion with the coach educator. During the reflective discussion, essential questions will be explored, such as what is the context of the coaching session? Who are you coaching and what are their unique characteristics and needs? Additionally, we delve into how the student guided athlete's attention towards specific opportunities or actions within the coaching environment. We will also discuss the implementation of pedagogy, including the manipulation of constraints to shape players' intentions.